We have to turn it on.
Okay.
Are we on?
Mhm.
We're ready to go. Okay, welcome everybody tonight to our town board meeting for November 4th. Before we get started, just ask everybody, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance and then we get rolling here. Everybody stand up. Thank you. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so tonight, before we get started, we have our town board members with us tonight. Andrew Riggenbaum, Steve Moreau, Sylvia Santiago, Stephen Bedetti. We have our town clerk, Kelly Allegra. We also have our town attorney. And we have two of our folks from the IT department, Danielle and Patrick. And we have my secretary here for those who will send some emails, because we're still going virtual, so we'll get started. The first item on the agenda is the town budget, which is always an important item for all of us, the town board, and we kind of struggle with this all the time. And this particular year, we've kind of put a lot of time into it. And we've managed to stay under the state cap. So the average homeowner whose value is assessed at about $40,000 will see about an $86 increase in their taxes. That's assuming that you are in the town garbage district and you have water and sewer. If you're not in the town garbage district and water and sewer, it would be less than $86 a year. So everyone pays the general fund and the highway fund and the ambulance tax. And only those who are in the garbage district pay the garbage tax. The garbage tax has gone up to $41 increase for the year. And we attribute that to a couple of reasons. One is that we no longer get paid for the recyclables. We pay to deposit them. We used to get paid to turn them in. The county tipping fees have gone up. And during the COVID crisis that we're still in, but in the very beginning when people were home, they were cleaning out the attic and cleaning out the basement, and we were just loaded up with stuff that we were taking every day. So $86 is kind of the bottom line that most people will probably want to know. And just to go over the tax situation, how it goes. On your taxes for any home, 70% of your taxes is school tax. 15% is county. And the other 15% is your town. So we're kind of responsible for like 15% of your tax bill. So we have struggled with this and got it down to where it's not over the tax cap, and it's not what I'm considering to be a burden for our taxpayers, which I know are suffering because of the COVID. I know people have lost their job. They've been lost some hours, part-time. I'm in and out of businesses in town, and I hear it over and over again about how I've spent my life savings. I'm barely hanging on. I think I'm going to close and I'll never open again. So there are some people who are not doing so well, and we have some empathy for them, the town board. And I had asked our unionized employees to forego a 3% raise to help the taxpayers with this budget. And I haven't heard back from them, so we're assuming that they're not going to do that. I just asked them to put it off for a year. So if they do come back and decide to do it, that would help us immensely in the reserves. So the way it stands now is due to the union employees wanting that 3% raise that is contractual, that we are contractually obligated to give it to them. We are also giving the non-union employees a 3% raise because it would not be fair to just give union employees and not the non-union. And the non-union employees have always gotten what the union employees got. So as we live and breathe here today, the only people that work for the town who are not getting an increase are your elected officials. They've all agreed to forego any raise because of the COVID crisis. So that being said, I'd just like to thank the Comptroller's Office, Jack Finnegan and Doreen Casey, and their staff in there who put all this work together for the town board to kind of be able to make some decisions. So, well, at that point, I'll open the public hearing for anybody who wants to make any comments about my comments or the budget. And there's a couple of ways you can call in or you can send an email, and we have folks standing by to help us with those means of communication. So I'll just hold on for a little bit and see if anybody wants to comment on the budget.
Hey, John, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you to Supervisor, Town Board. We really appreciate all the work that you've been doing, especially under these difficult times. When it comes to the budget, the one item that I'm focused in on is the one that you just mentioned, which is the raises for unionized employees. I'm not suffering. I'm fortunate enough to have been able to keep my job during COVID, and I have tenants that live upstairs, and they've been fortunate enough to keep their job. So I have rent coming in, and so I'm sort of insulated a little bit from what maybe some of the other residents are experiencing, and so I speak from that point of view. But I appreciate all of the interest that you guys have and all the work you've been putting in to try to figure out how to really balance this budget in a way that benefits everybody. I also come to you as a union member and as a union leader who represents employees that work for municipalities in other parts of the state. And we've had similar discussions with those municipalities. In some cases, we've been able to come up with an agreement to defer raises and then later on to get those raises back. In other words, they weren't lost forever. But I don't know the nature of the rest of your budget, and I don't know all the other intricacies about what you're dealing with. So my knee-jerk reaction is try to make sure that the employees, if you can talk to the union, if you can convince them to take some sort of a delayed raise, make it up somewhere else. I don't know if that's really going to happen. It sounds like you haven't gotten any response, but there are a lot of different creative ways to kind of figure it out. And I hope that you'll be able to do something like that that can benefit all stakeholders. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments. And yeah, we just asked them to extend the contract another year with the same raise. So we'll see how it washes out, but I appreciate your comments. Katrina, you got anybody out there? No. Anybody else there, Mr. Mangan? No. Oh, wait, other than that, we'll get going here. Okay, so Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of New Windsor, close the public hearing regarding the preliminary town budget for the year 2021. Motion,
Move.
Second.
roll call?
Councilman Regenbaum, Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Madeti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
yes,
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby adopt the 2021 preliminary town budget as the annual budget for the town of New Windsor for fiscal year beginning first day of January 2021. The town clerk entered the 2021 annual budget in detail in the minutes of this meeting and advertised the same as required by law, that the town clerk and town supervisor certify and distribute the 2021 annual budget pursuant to New York State Town Law 115 and 202A, all in accordance with the resolution attached here to it. Motion,
Move.
Second.
roll call?
Councilman Regenbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Madeti,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Santiago,
yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes. Okay, so that's it. The budget's adopted, and I'd like to thank the town board for their efforts in getting this thing put to bed and not burdening our taxpayers. Okay, the next item on the agenda is any public comment period. There's comments on agenda items only. So if anybody, we posted this online. If anybody wants to make any comments on the agenda, we'll record them, and I'll hold on for a couple of minutes and see if there's anybody who wants to make any comments.
And John, you go ahead and unmute again.
Okay, thank you again. I have 4 items that I wanted to make a quick comment about. First is the moratorium extension, that I feel that if you're going to extend the moratorium, you should do that, based upon the fact that perhaps you didn't complete whatever you were trying to learn when you imposed the moratorium. My understanding is that you wanted to hit the brakes and kind of check and see what was going on and see what the development was and all that stuff. So if you've completed that task, that's fine. But if you've not, then you should extend it. Secondly, there was an issue about the license plate readers in Five Corners. And generally, I'm against this sort of thing because I don't like a lot of, Big Brother, watching over kind of stuff. I understand that the police may find it useful to have that sort of information, but I really think that the New Windsor Police Department is world class, and they've proved themselves, and they do a very, very good job. I'm not sure if they need this. I mean, we have license plate readers on the back trunks of some police cars that are easy enough to use. I feel a little leery about having permanent fixtures somewhere that can just watch people as they go by and read their license plates. Third item is the residents only parks. Again, I'm generally against this idea. I mean, we certainly could charge people from outside, but I don't really know. I've been to other municipalities. If I have to drive my wife somewhere and drop her off and wait for a doctor's appointment or whatever, I might want to go to the local park. And, it's a pain in the neck. You can't go there unless you're a resident and all that kind of stuff. In our case, I'm not sure. Maybe we have people from other municipalities that are frequenting the park, persistently, and that's a real problem. So I'm unaware of what those things are, but in general, I'm against it. But I understand if you have those problems that you got to deal with it in some way. And the last thing that I want to mention is the Amazon issue. And I really appreciated watching the work session. I especially appreciate Supervisor, but also David Zagon, because, knowing how to deal with Amazon and to deal with all the intricacies of what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it and kind of sneak around us a little bit. I really feel very proud to have you guys working for us and protecting us and making sure that, we don't get snookered in some way. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that and keep up the good work, because, it's definitely a good idea to have that business in the building, the old lighting building that was not being used. It'll help us all out, but it's got to be done the right way. And you guys seem to be on the job and really watching out for us. So I just wanted to say thank you.
All right, thank you, John. Anybody else on there, Patrick? Nope. Gina? Okay. So I guess that would be the end of that. So let's move on to the rest of the agenda. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor. Approve the minutes of the regular Town Board meeting held on October 7th, 2020, as per copies of those minutes posted on the Town Clerk's Bulletin Board and Town Hall, same having been distributed to each of the Town Board members. Motion.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Regenbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize the supervisor to execute the attached change order number 2 with Sullivan County Paving Instruction Incorporated, which reconciles final quantities of all payment items in the contract, including overruns, underruns, and additional work. The result of the change order is a reduction of $47,386.18 of the final contract price. Said change order shall be in the form acceptable to the town attorney with the approval of the town engineer. Motion.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Regenbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this is a rarity. We're actually getting a credit. Very unusual. Usually the change orders they're looking for more money. Okay, so receive and file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file the attached fully executed amendment and extension of municipal cooperative agreement number 2 to the community development block grant agreement between the Town of New Windsor and the County of Orange for the replacement of culverts on Old Windsor Road, fiscal year 2017, extending the term of the same for an additional 6 months through December 31st, 2020, and increasing the available funding of $60,280 for the project known as Old Windsor Road Culvert Replacement Project. We had applied to the Community Development Block Grant people for more money for this project, and once again, another rarity. They came through and we got an additional $60,000 through the Community Development Block Grant that we did not have to burden our local taxpayers on. So I appreciate the county helping us with that. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file the attached fully executed amendment and extension of the municipal cooperative agreement number 1 to the Community Development Block Grant Agreement between Town of Windsor and County of Orange, increasing the available funding by $61,087 for the project known as Hilltop Drainage Improvements, the project applicable year 2019/2018. This is exactly the same thing that we applied to the Community Development Block Grant for more money for the project, so we didn't burden the local taxpayers, and we received it. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board of Windsor authorize supervisor to execute the attached change order number 1 with Blue Heron Construction LLC for the project known as Caesars Lane Wastewater Treatment Plant Disinfection System for additional work as follows: sludge, grit removal, and disposal from the microscreen building, as well as rerouting of the existing 3-inch treatment plant water line. Said change order shall be in the form acceptable to the town attorney with approval of the town engineer. Motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Regenbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this has to do with the project that we've undertaken, which is an expansion and an upgrade of the town's sewer treatment plant, which was built in 1974. So it's not quite as old as I am, but it's pretty old. So it's kind of like been needing work for many, many years, and we finally have made a decision that we're going forward with this. So this was the first real project that we put down there. And we believe that this final project will probably be in the $50 to $60 million area when all is said and done. But we're out of space. The plant is always on its last leg. So this was a change order where they went in and they found additional sludge in the microscreen, and we had to approve this change order. And it was a substantial change. It was $52,000. So here we go with this project. You'll hear a lot about this in the future, I'm sure. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize the establishment of a performance bond for the public improvements in the Meadowbrook Major Subdivision, Planning Board 1-42, specifically for the construction of a new sewer pump station, the amount of $494,756, plus an inspection fee of $19,790.24, representing 4% of the public improvement bond amount as recommended by McGoey House Etzel Consulting Engineers by correspondence dated 1 November 2020 as attached here to a motion.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Regenbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this is a housing project being built out at the Meadowbrook property, and they are putting in this sewer pump station at their cost, and this was also help us with other things out that way. I'd just like to acknowledge the work by Councilman Bedetti. He kind of dove into this particular project with the sewer pump stations and kind of helped me shepherd it through. So that's a project that needed to be done too. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file attached map plan and report of McGoey House Etzel and Consulting Engineers dated 28 October 2020 for the Caesars Lane wastewater treatment expansion for the Speedy's compliance and outflow relocation. So this Speedy's thing is a requirement of the state, and it has to do with pollution, and this is all part of that expansion and upgrade we're undertaking of this sewer treatment plant. I'm sure as the years go on, we'll hear a lot about it. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, call for a public hearing regarding the proposed local law to repeal and rescind local law number 5/2020 to override the tax levy limit established in the general municipal law section, to be held December 2nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. either in person at Town Hall, 555 Union Avenue, New Windsor, New York, or by video conference and teleconference on the same date and time, and with a link to log on and participate by computer, phone number, and access code to call and participate by telephone, made available to the public by the town clerk in a timely manner pursuant to law in accordance with the resolution annexed here too. Motion?
Move.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilman Regenbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
yes,
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this will be a public hearing where we did not have to override that tax levy, so this is just a formality that we had the law, now we have to go and say that we didn't go over it, so this will cover all the bases for the state, and I hope they're happy. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, extend the temporary moratorium for an additional 1 6-month period in accordance with the resolution attached hereto. So what we're doing here is extending it for 1 6-month period. Motion,
Move.
second,
roll call.
Councilman Rigabon,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
yes,
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, I'll speak to this in a minute. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby introduce a local law amending Local Law 1/2020 entitled Temporary Moratorium on all development approvals in the Town of Windsor and call a public hearing for same to be set for December 2nd, 2020 at 7 p.m. at 555 Union Avenue, Windsor, New York, in accordance with the attached resolution. Motion,
Moved.
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Rigabon,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
yes,
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this is an extension of the moratorium that we'll have a public hearing on in December. And in the first 6 months of the moratorium, we did not allow any relief to anybody. So we've kind of made some changes to this second 6 months, and they're kind of minor changes. And all we're saying is that, and this will be part of the public hearing, is that emergency services are exempt from this, and like the police department or the fire department, an ambulance corps. And also, anybody who's not going to have an impact more than a 1 or 2 family subdivision, which was in the first 6 months, can apply. And if you want to go to the planning board with a new project, this particular moratorium will allow you to go at your own risk. Does not mean it's going to get approved. It probably means it would not get approved until the moratorium is over. But at least you can go before the planning board and begin the process. And the process is sometimes months and months long. So we had some inquiries from developers and builders stating that, listen, okay, we know we can't do anything, but could we at least kind of get in the starting gate? So I had some conversation with the board members and the town attorney, Dave Zagon, shepherded this through for all of us. So we'll have the public hearing and we'll see what people have to say. But the moratorium seemed to work out for the first 6, and we'll see where we're going in December, what kind of comments we get from the public, and then the board will kind of make their decision. Chair will entertain a motion, whereas a statement of properties and correspondence property owners which have not paid water, sewer, beaver dam garbage charges was filed with the town clerk on October 29, 2020. And whereas on October 29, 2020, Supervisor Town of Windsor transmitted the statement to this board for further action. Now therefore be resolved that unpaid water, sewer, and beaver dam charges transmitted to the board to be re-levied on the 2021 tax roll of the Town of Windsor against the properties as set forth in the aforementioned statement, and that all amounts reflected therein is classified as unpaid utilities on the 2020 tax roll to the total of $1,071,383.22. B, it further resolved that the amount so levied can be placed in the warrant of the county legislature issued by the Town of Windsor receiver taxes in the same manner as general taxes are levied and collected, and shall be considered a lien like general taxes until the amount therefore is paid. Motion,
move,
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Rigabon,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
yes,
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this is an annual resolution that we do if people don't pay their water charges, sewer charges, and the garbage charges, that it's re-levied onto their tax bill. And if that eventually is not paid, mercifully, the county makes the town whole. In other words, if we're short whatever number of dollars, the county sends it to us, and they are the collection agency. They're the ones who foreclose on properties and do the final collection of the taxes owed. So this is an annual resolution that we do so we can collect that money in the county if need be. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby authorize the supervisor to execute an occupancy agreement with Amazon.com Services LLC to protect the town from liability associated with Amazon.com Services LLC occupancy of 500 Hudson Valley Avenue and its related procurement of a revocable land use permit from the New York City Department of DEP to determine this is an unlisted action pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which will not have a significant environmental impact, and declare a negative declaration for the same in accordance with the resolution attached here too. Motion,
Move.
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Regenbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
yes,
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this has to do with Amazon and there was some issue with their stormwater that they were going to send over towards the New York City aqueduct. Amazon wanted the town to sign and the board refused to sign. This is their issue. They'll have to take care of it. And once again, I thank Dave Zagon for going back and forth with their attorney. And we are, as was mentioned during the comment period, we are, and I am in particular, paying very, very close attention to that project out at the airport. And some days I get pretty angry. It's never a good idea. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor authorize the establishment of a performance bond in the amount of $1,500,795 as recommended by McGoey Hauser Etzel Consulting Engineers in the attached correspondence dated 3 November 2020 for site restoration necessary to alleviate the need for the New York City Department of Environmental Protection revocable land use permit, if required, during or after the Amazon.com Services LLC tenancy at 500 Hudson Valley Avenue, Windsor, New York, in accordance with the occupancy agreement entered into between the town of New Windsor and Amazon.com Services LLC immediately upon revocation of the non-renewal of the New York City DEP revocable land use permit. Amazon.com Services LLC shall deposit with the town an inspection fee in the amount required for the public improvements pursuant to the town code, Town of New Windsor. Motion,
Moved.
second,
roll call.
Councilman Regenbaum,
Yes.
Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Bedetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
yes,
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, we just had some correspondence from Amazon today. They thought that this was a little too high, but I think it's maybe a little bit too low. So this is just ensuring that they will do what they say they're going to do. So they have had some issues with me not doing what they said they're going to do. So now that's why I'm pretty much keeping a very, very close eye on that particular project. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file the attached agreement dated October 29, 2020, between the Town of Windsor and Richard Kroll for the nuisance wildlife control of the Windsor landfill, commencing January 1, 2021, and expiring December 31st, 2021. This is our landfill, and for $1,300 a year, Richard Kroll makes sure that the varmints don't get at our landfill and cause us more trouble, enough trouble. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Permit 3-3399-00087-0001 issued to the City of Newburgh and Riverkeeper Incorporated authorizing evacuation and fill within the Quasaic River associated with the removal of Strooks Felt Mill Dam. This is off of 9W over by Gus's, where they're doing some work over there. It's mostly in the City of Newburgh's ballpark, and we're just kind of receiving a file. We don't really have any objection. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor shall receive and file the attached judgment and memorandum of opinion and order, both dated October 5th, 2020, granting the defendant's motion to dismiss in the matter of Lord Paulin versus the Town of New Windsor Police Department. This was a person who was arrested by the police department and filed some kind of a notice of claim or a judgment, and the court looked at it and thought that didn't have much merit and dismissed it. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of New Windsor, receive and file the summons and complaint of the matter of J.G., an infant by his mother and natural guardian, Sonia Figueroa individually versus the Town of New Windsor et al. So this is a child who was in our day camp down at the recreation building on Union Avenue. and was in some kind of game that they were playing, and one of the counselors was participating in the game, and during the game, the counselor fell on the child, and there was some type of kind of injury. I'm not too sure it was too serious, but our employee was all of 16, so he was monitoring and participating in this game. So we'll see where that goes. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file the attached notice of claim in the matter of Stewart Hill LLC and Sound Around LLC versus the Town of Windsor. This just came in today. I dropped it in the Town Board's mail file, but this is that project out on Beatty Road that had approval back in 2018 or 19. And then some neighbors out there took an Article 78 and the court agreed with them. And this thing seems to be tied up, and I have no idea, nor does Town Attorney Dave Zagon know why this has been filed, but let's see where it goes. We're really kind of out of this. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor shall receive and file with the town clerk the attached monthly reports for the following departments, all for October 2020. Justice Calderon, Justice Myers, the Police Department, Building Department, Recreation Department, Tax Receivers Utility Report, Town Clerk, the Windsor Emergency Medical Services. So I just kind of reviewed these today, and the thing that always jumps out at me is how many DWI arrests we have in this 38 square miles that we have. And we have had 5 less in October. A month before we had 12. So to me, it's really like, how crazy are people to be still out driving while intoxicated when they could take an Uber or a Lyft or call a friend or actually walk. But they're still out there, so I think probably just want people to be cognizant. I appreciate the work by our police department getting this dangerous driver off the road. So that's about it. I think the last item on the agenda will be a public forum that will open up for comments on anything. And before I go to that, any board members have anything they want to put on the table?
No, thank you.
Okay, so we'll open up to the public, and Katrina and Patrick and Danielle, you'll tell me if there's anybody. No? Patrick? No. Okay, so I'd just like to make a comment that I think there may have to be some adjustments in 2021 on this budget as we move towards the 2022 budget. This budget is in bed and gone, but I'm kind of looking out where we're going to be next year. So I heard the governor use the same word, adjustments, and I kind of wondered what that meant. And the more I thought about it, and he said I gave the school district the first 3 months of their 20% of what they have coming, and I guess I'll see how much money I have left after that to see what I give them. So I guess I'm saying the same thing, that we probably will be in that kind of position where I may recommend to the board that we have to make some adjustments to keep the town on what I consider to be a nice level playing field for the residents. And that's what I'm mostly concerned with here. I mean, I know that I'm concerned with the employees. We took very good care of our employees during the COVID. We actually paid them to stay home. We made a lot of provisions for them. But when push comes to shove, my job is to protect the residents. So that's what I'll be looking at, and I'll make some recommendations to the board members. If once the books are closed, like January 15th, 20th, I'll have a better idea with the controller's office as to where we are. And then I'll have some discussion with the board members, and we'll see what, if any, adjustments have to be made in 2021. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, adjourn the town board meeting at 7:34 p.m. Motion,
Move.
Second.
roll call.
Councilman Regenbaum, Councilman Monroe,
Yes.
Councilman Maddetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.